Hello and welcome to today's video. So I'm going to take a break from VOD review of pro games in anticipation of the group stage for NA coming up, because I'm planning to look at those games quite a bit. So instead, I'm going to teach you how I look at my own VODs in order to improve. So I started this channel in order to get better at the game. By making these pro VOD reviews, I wanted to improve my game sense and understanding of the game, especially when I was IGLing a team. So when you talk about the different types of skills in Valorant, it's usually broken up into two things, the macro gameplay and the micro gameplay. So macro is things like looking at the map and understanding the movements of your team, whereas micro is more about the individual position, crosshair placement, aim, all of those small moments that you yourself are doing. Because all of my pro VOD review is focused on the macro movements that they're making, I wanted to look at the micro mistakes that I'm making my own ranked games. So there's countless ways that you can review your own VODs. The method that we're going to be practicing today is a death review. So what that's going to be is we're going to focus on every single round where I die, because in the rounds that you die, your mistakes are the most obvious. Because a lot of the time you can look at your death and see a direct connection to a decision you made or a mistake that led to your death. For each death that we analyze, we're going to be focusing on three main things. First, positioning based on where my team is. Second, crosshair placement. And third, the decision making in that round. In addition to these deaths, I'm also going to look at a couple rounds where I think I played well, because I think it's important to keep a balance so that you're not overly critical of yourself and you're also paying attention to when you do the right thing. My first death comes in round 5. The enemy starts with a B rush, but I'm unsure if they're out.
I'm blind, I'm keeping out.
The trip goes off, but I'm still worried about anyone lurking A, but then 3 show up on the map at the same time as my teammates call it, and I suck. The suck was likely a little bit late to be able to help my teammates, but it's hard to tell. My teammate calls stairs and I reactively place a star to stun. I pre-fire towards site, don't see anything, and then try to spam through the smoke a bit. I'm worried about a lane swing, and I get flash from lane as well. My teammate gets killed from stairs, and at this point I know where all 3 players are. I try to isolate a 1v1 against the KO on lane, but lose the fight. In terms of positioning, I think I played this situation pretty okay. I was trying to isolate fights in a man disadvantage situation, and at any point I was usually only exposed to one of the 3 players. My crosshair placement has significantly more problems. First, I'm positioned out wide and it takes me a while to realize there's no one peeking me from market, and my crosshair placement stays in the middle of where they would swing instead of close to the door that the chamber would have to be swinging out of. Once I reposition to start looking for the KO, I'm at head height, but you can see I over flick as he wide swings, and he's able to get past my crosshair without any repositioning. If I had to take one lesson from this round, it would be positioning my crosshair for the swing instead of next to the wall. The next round where I die is round 8, where we're once again in a man disadvantage situation retaking B. I start walking once I approach market, knowing that someone could be lurking mid. You can see that I start isolating angles here, but at some point I wide swing and do a really sloppy body shot kill. At this point, I push into market and break the door, after placing a smoke for main. I break the door and start clearing out stairs and boat, and I spot KO jiggling at lane. I reload being at 10 bullets, but Sova is hiding close and swings as I reload. At the point where I open the door, I thought the Jett was peeking CT and had not peeked at my minimap to see that Jett had backed off. I should have waited for her to come up towards CT so she's able to trade me, but even as the peek came out, I actually probably would have gotten this kill if I had adjusted for the crouch. I shoot directly towards head level, but he ducks under it. My lesson from this round is to just check the minimap before breaking the door on Ascent, knowing that I need to position based off of my teammates. My next death comes in round 10 where we're in a 4v4 retake on A. I go into astral form to ult off main, mess up the placement and do it again, place the wall, and then get shot from behind. If I had just placed the wall the first time, I might have been able to see the flank or at least contest it in some way. As is, I wasn't aware of any holes in our defense and thought that they couldn't be up on me from behind. A quick lesson from this round is that I need to place utility quickly and accurately, looking at the pillar to base off the wall, as well as be aware of any potential flanks that could kill me while I'm in astral form. For round 11, the other team once again goes for a B rush. This time I'm playing on site though, and I'm able to support my jet. I smoke it, break the knife, and then suck to prevent anyone from supporting the jet, find the first kill, and then overswing and die. My initial actions are honestly pretty ideal in that I'm able to prevent the team from coming out while the jet's trying to entry and pick off my jet, and I create a 2v1 against the enemy jet on site, finding the timing to get the kill for free. Unfortunately, after my good plays, I decide to do the classic example of an overheat. So a lot of people call this overheating because you go for too much after you do something good. So immediately after getting the kill, I go up the stairs and I'm trying to punish anyone trying to push through the smoke and into my suck. But if you look at the map, you can see that I don't have any teammates on market or CT, which means I'm just taking a solo peek into I don't know how many players. It ends up being 2, and it was even possible for me to win the fight against the Omen, but it still doesn't matter. This play is not a team play, and I die for free. If I had potentially repositioned back site or somewhere on site with my jet, I could have held as 2 for the enemy push while waiting for the reinforcements to come in. So my main lesson for this round is that I don't always need to peek my grav well. In this situation, it already did its job and let us find the jet kill on site without letting anyone out, and I could have just repositioned and played for my team instead of going for the peek. In round 12, I'm once again anchoring B. I jiggle main and spot the chamber. I smoke it off so he can't push through and hold the smoke, repositioning out wide so I'm not at the same angle he saw me. I then return to that same angle and get ready to re-smoke. I saw one mid, so I'm wary about my team as well. I start spamming the smoke, and Chamber uses this opportunity to actually push through the smoke and shoot me. You could honestly call this Chamber's play a bad play because he's pushing through a smoke into potentially a player in both market and on site, but it works out and he gets the kill and gets out. One lesson I can learn from this round is that if I'm spamming a smoke, don't do it from the same position that I was just spotted by an op, because he's only able to find the kill because he's pre-aiming me. If I had repositioned to stairs or to boathouse or anywhere else to hold the smoke, I probably would have gotten this kill for free. My next death comes in round 15, which is our bonus round on attack. This round, I honestly think I played pretty well in general, but we're still gonna look at it anyways. So we notice the Sova suck bottom left mid, and I suck in order to get the spam kill, and we're quickly left in a 4v3 situation. We clean up this chamber, leaving us in a 4v2, but then the player solo pushing Cat gets picked off. At this point, our team has gotten pretty spread. So what ends up happening is I spot this smoke thrown from the jet on top mid, and I pull back a star in order to get myself into B main. Having seen the player on Cat and on top mid, we know where both players are, and I get to sight. My teammates, however, stay split up, and the doubled up players are able to kill both individually. So I'm left in a 2v1 situation where I am able to catch this jet off guard and find the first, as well as get the dink on the KO, but it's unfortunately not enough. While it was possible for me to win that 2v1, I'm not going to really take too much blame for this one. However, I could have called for my 2 teammates to come play with me on site so we have a 3v2 instead of literally a 2v1 twice that gets both of my teammates killed. I die again in the following round, round 16. So we're left in a 3v3 retake position where we have a site, and I go to plant while I have a player playing switch and a player playing at the jump up to heaven. Omen swings wide heaven and kills both the switch player and me, and then Chamber kills the jet. This one's pretty simple. I just should have gotten off the plant after I heard the Omen shooting at switch, knowing that he probably could have swung me immediately after. I die once again in the following round, round 17, where we are on a save. So my KO dies to 2 players pushing main, and I decide to go fight them on my own. and I walk peek out and get killed by the crouching KO holding the angle. Pretty simple lessons from this one as well. I had no reason to peek into a 1v2, and I also should never walk peek in that situation. I should have been jiggling angles, clearing them one at a time, instead of slowly walking out into the angle they could be holding. The other benefit to reviewing your own deaths is that sometimes you can see when your teammates make a mistake and know that you're not too much to blame. My Jet and KO swing out through CT, creating a 2v2 against the enemy team when we already had a 5v3 man advantage. They get 2 for road, leaving us suddenly in a 3v3. So I should have popped the market smoke in order for the Reyna to have an easier time hiding on stairs, but I'm mostly going to look at crosshair placement for this 1v3. My initial crosshair placement is too low and I'm forced to flick up. I hit 2 body shots, but then I'm able to duck back into cover without getting hit. I then peek the other side, which is a great decision, and find the KO having already tagged him as he was coming into sight. I then readjust my crosshair placement for the chamber to be back on sight still, but I don't expect him to be far out right, and then pull down too much as I try to adjust. Looking at my crosshair placement in this round, I oftentimes went for these weird sprays where I was waving my crosshair around. So ideally in Valorant you want to be doing 3 to 4 bullet bursts that come in between clean movement that only exposes you to 1 or 2 angles at a time. So this clip just shows that I was kind of panicking and spraying without using discipline in my movement and aim. I die in the next round, but I'm not really going to spend much time looking at it because I'm holding B main for most of the round, and then by the time I'm over by my team, it's a 1v3 with the Marshal. I could have possibly headshot this Sova as he peeked out, but I didn't expect him to crouch and walk peek out, and I only pulled down instead of slightly to the left as well. My final death comes in the last round of the game, round 21. We are in a 4v5 execute for A site. I smoke off the usual positions and place a star for stunning on cubes, but I get suppressed by KO ult. I scale up with KO, get flash, and then Omen swings right side dice. My team is able to win out the round at the end, but looking at my individual moment, I was mostly doing the right thing. Unfortunately, as I scale to the right side of the site, I should be worrying about the dice angle instead of heaven. I should be trusting my teammates behind me to hold heaven for me. Because I'm the furthest right, I'm the only one that can be challenging this Omen swing from the right side of dice. At the end of the day, if I had hard trusted my teammates to hold door and heaven, and had my crosshair placed exactly for the Omen swing on dice, which is the only angle I really needed to worry about, I probably would have gotten the kill on the Omen, preventing 2 of our team's deaths. Finally, I'm going to look at one round that I think I played well, and explain what I was doing. In round 9, I'm playing off of my Chamber's ult. He's holding B main, and I'm waiting to pop my star for after his shot. I pop a smoke for my KO holding A main as well, while my Reyna's holding mid. Chamber shoots, and I immediately smoke, see that there's a player mid, and then suck to prevent anyone from coming out of main. I immediately reposition onto site, knowing that my Chamber's holding from spawn still, and he's able to find a chamber pushing our spawn. At this point, I know that Sova is still in market, and I'm worried the whole time about players being out. You can see that I'm jiggling market, aware that this Sova is still around the position, and that there could be one towards main. I smoke off main, re-peek market, and kill Sova right as he was shooting my chamber. There is one moment where I exposed myself to market while not having my crosshair placed there, but I think it was okay because my chamber was holding it with me, and I was checking to see if anyone was coming out of B main.
Nice, thank you. VCT, watch out, he smoked it.
As always, thank you so much for watching my videos. Please feel free to comment below if you have any feedback. I'm really appreciative of how many people are enjoying my content, and I'm looking to get some more VOD reviews out soon from the NA group stage.